Okay, so I'm going to try and make this quick because we're losing quite a bit of sun here. But I wanted to go through my Devo for today. That was Hosea 11. So I'm just going to read this through and kind of go through kind of the key points that I saw today. So the loves for Israel. When Israel was a child, I loved him, and out of Israel I called my son. But the more they called, the more they went away. They kept sacrificing to the Baals and burning offerings to idols. Yet it was I who taught Ephraim to walk. I took them in my arms, took them up by their arms, but they did not know that I healed them. I led them with cords of kindness, with the bands of love, and I became to them as one who eased the yokes on their jaws, and I bent down to them and fed them. They shall not return to the land of Egypt, but Assyria shall be their king. Because they have refused to return to me, the sword shall rage against their cities, consume the bars of their gates, and devour them because of their own counsels. My people are bent on turning away from me, and though they call out to the Most High, he shall not raise them up at all. How can I give you up, O Ephraim? How can I hand you over, O Israel? How can I make you like Admah? How can I treat you like Zeboim? My heart recoils within me. My compassion grows warm and tender, and I will not execute my burning anger. I will not again destroy Ephraim, for I am God and not a man, the Holy One in your midst. And I will not come in wrath. Therefore, they shall go after the Lord. He will roar like a lion. When he roars, his children shall come trembling from the west. They shall come trembling like the birds from Egypt, and like doves from the land of Assyria. And I will return them to their homes, declares the Lord. Ephraim has surrounded me with lies, and the house of Israel with deceit. But Judah still walks to the Lord and is faithful to the Holy One. So going through this, some of the key points that I saw initially, all throughout the last few chapters of Hosea, God has referred to different ideas of what to make a metaphor of Israel. They have been a trained calf, a luxuriant vine, and another one is a young child. God describes Israel as his child, as his beloved son that he cared for and that he loved. So that's an important thing to think about as he's talking about this. A lot of Hosea is God showing his anger on Hosea and being very frustrated, and showing that in the words throughout the different passages and chapters. But in Hosea 11, it really shows throughout this his emotion as he goes through. It says, "But the more they were called, the more they went away. They kept sacrificing to Baals and burning their idols, and burning offerings to their idols." So here it shows that though God cherished Israel, the more he went closer to them and the more he cared for them, the more misguided they became and turned away from him like a misguided and kind of arrogant son that didn't appreciate their father and their loving father. It says that he taught Ephraim to walk. He held them in their arms. He healed them. He was like a perfect father that was growing them and nurturing them, and yet they still disowned him. It says, "They shall not return to Egypt, but Assyria shall be their king." God's saying here that despite all of their rejection, he will not send them back into slavery in Egypt. However, it does say that he will make Assyria their king, and that there still will be consequences of their rejection and their actions against him. That because they refused, the sword shall rage against their cities and consume the bars of gates and devour them because of their own counsels. And then we get to the really interesting part of his emotion that you can really see in a loving father. It says, "How can I give you up, O Ephraim? How can I hand you over, O Israel? How can I make you like Admah? How can I treat you like Zeboim?" He's basically saying here, he's saying like, I know I need to correct you, but I love you so much and I don't want to give you up. I don't want to completely destroy you at this time and forever, his chosen people. He doesn't want to give them up. He doesn't want to reject them like Israel has done to him. And so it says, his compassion grows warm and tender. It says he will not execute his burning anger. He will not again destroy Ephraim. Because it says that, sorry about that. It says that I am God and not man, the Holy One in your midst, and I will not come in wrath. And so though Israel rejects God, he will not reject his covenant with his people. At the same time, it does say that he does rebuke them, and he does challenge them, and he does correct them. And part of this is destroying some of their tribe, specifically Ephraim. Ephraim being the major and prominent biggest tribe within Israel. And so God ends up leaving only a remnant of Israel to continue on his chosen people from. However, this is very, very, very significant that he does not reject Israel and completely disown them and reject his covenant that he made with them because of his love, because of the care that he has for them. Despite all of the rejection that they've showed God throughout all this time, he is still being faithful for them and leaving a remnant for his people to grow from. And it says that he shall go after the Lord. They shall go after the Lord, and he will roar like a lion. And when he roars, his children shall come trembling from the west. They shall come trembling like birds from Egypt and like doves from Syria. And I wrote a note here saying there's a reference back to chapter 7:11, when he calls them a foolish dove. Usually doves at this time were very righteous creatures that were greatly loved. They were used for sacrifice because they were very pure. And so in this means he was referencing back to the foolishness that he called them in foolish doves before, and bringing them back in his favor with the remnant that he is going to have to come back as those righteous doves in repentance that God is calling them to. And then finally, ending here, it says, Ephraim has surrounded me with lies, and the house of Israel with deceit. But Judah still walks with God and is faithful to the Holy One. So it says here, all of Israel was disobedient. And this was mainly Ephraim as one of the biggest prominent tribes of Israel. However, Israel, specifically Judah, did have some good kings, as I have here, and it shows down in the notes down here, was Hezekiah. Hezekiah was one of the greatest kings for Judah really ever, and had a significant victory over the Assyrians during this time that he was king. So that's very, very significant that he trusted and was faithful to God, and that God was faithful to Hezekiah and Judah during that time, even in the midst of all of the rejection and disobedience by the group. So this is basically my deal for today. I hope you guys were able to take something from this. And I'll just be trying to make this a more consistent thing where I go through, write my own notes, look into some different commentaries and whatnot, and then basically just hit my key reference points and thoughts from the chapter. So appreciate it, and hopefully I'll be coming with more of these soon.